The CEO saw the cleaner's bruises, and his reaction left everyone in shock. No one in the glass tower of Northbridge Financial expected the quiet cleaner to change the entire company. Especially not the CEO. It started on a cold winter morning in Toronto. Snow pressed against the tall windows of the office building while employees rushed in with coffee cups and laptops. Meetings were starting, phones were ringing, and everyone was too busy to notice the woman quietly pushing a cleaning cart down the hallway. Her name was Maria. Maria had been working there for nearly a year. Most people barely noticed her. She arrived before sunrise and often left long after the last executive had gone home. She cleaned desks, emptied trash cans, wiped fingerprints off glass doors, and quietly disappeared into the background of the busy corporate world. But that morning was different. Daniel Harper, the CEO of Northbridge Financial, arrived earlier than usual. He had barely slept the night before, overwhelmed with the pressure of leading one of Canada's fastest-growing financial firms. His mind was heavy with decisions, numbers, and responsibility. As he stepped out of the elevator on the executive floor, he noticed Maria kneeling beside the reception desk, cleaning the marble floor. At first, he was about to walk past her like everyone else. Then he saw it, a dark purple bruise on her arm. Maria quickly pulled her sleeve down when she noticed him looking, but it was too late. Daniel had already seen it. His steps slowed. He wasn't the type of CEO who ignored things. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. Maria froze. Most executives never spoke to her. She looked nervous, almost afraid. "I'm fine, sir," she said quickly, keeping her eyes on the floor. Daniel studied her for a moment. Her voice trembled slightly. Her hands were shaking. "Maria, right?" he asked. She looked surprised that he knew her name. "Yes, sir." Daniel nodded slowly. "If something's wrong, you don't have to hide it." For a moment, Maria said nothing. Then she forced a small smile. "Just clumsy, sir. I bumped into a door." Daniel didn't believe her, but he also knew pushing her in the middle of the hallway wouldn't help. So he simply nodded and walked away. Yet the image of that bruise stayed in his mind all day. During a meeting with the board, while executives discussed profits and investments, Daniel found himself distracted. Something about Maria's expression bothered him. It wasn't just the bruise. It was the fear in her eyes. That evening, long after most employees had left, Daniel walked through the quiet office floors. That's when he heard something. Soft crying. He followed the sound down a dim hallway until he reached the supply closet. Inside, Maria sat on a small stool, holding an ice pack against her wrist. Tears rolled down her face as she tried to stay quiet. Daniel knocked gently on the open door. Maria quickly wiped her tears, startled. "Sir, I'm sorry, I was just leaving." "Maria," Daniel said softly, stepping inside. "You're not in trouble." She looked down, embarrassed. "Did someone hurt you?" he asked. She hesitated. And then, something broke inside her. For months she had stayed silent, pretending everything was fine. But kindness has a way of unlocking pain. "My husband," she whispered. The room fell silent. Maria explained between tears. Her husband had lost his job months ago. Since then, his anger had grown worse. The drinking started, then the shouting, then the hitting. She worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table for her young daughter. Leaving him felt impossible. She had no savings, no family nearby, and nowhere safe to go. Daniel stood there quietly, absorbing every word. When she finished, she looked ashamed, like she expected to be judged. Instead, Daniel did something no one expected. He pulled a chair from the hallway and sat down across from her. "You are not alone anymore," he said calmly. Maria looked confused. The next morning, something shocking happened. An email from the CEO went out to the entire company. It wasn't about profits. It wasn't about business strategy. It was about people. Daniel announced a new company initiative to support employees facing domestic abuse and personal crises. The program included confidential counseling, legal assistance, emergency housing support, and paid leave for those needing safety. The entire office buzzed with surprise. But Daniel wasn't finished. That afternoon, Maria was called to human resources. She walked in nervously, worried she had done something wrong. Instead, they handed her documents. Northbridge would cover temporary housing for her and her daughter. They had already connected her with a local support organization. She would receive 3 months of paid leave to rebuild her life. Maria couldn't believe it, but, "I'm just a cleaner," she whispered. The HR manager smiled. "No," she said gently. "You're part of this company." Weeks later, Maria and her daughter moved into a safe apartment. Her daughter returned to school without fear. Maria slowly began to heal. And something unexpected happened inside Northbridge. Employees began sharing their own struggles. The culture changed. People looked out for each other more. Kindness replaced silence. All because one CEO chose to notice someone everyone else overlooked. 6 months later, Maria returned to work. But this time, when she walked through the office halls, people didn't ignore her. They greeted her. They thanked her. And every morning, when Daniel Harper passed her in the hallway, he always stopped to ask the same question. "How are you today, Maria?" And for the first time in a long time, she could smile and say, "I'm finally okay."